I figured, since I've been playing Dead by Daylight for a while now, that I would do a basic tutorial for everyone. Um, so basically it's a survival game. I mean, I guess that's kind of obvious. Um, so I'm gonna start with playing as a survivor. Okay, so you can choose from easy survivors, intermediate survivors, and hard survivors, and this actually just came out recently with the newest patch. They didn't have that sort of designation before. My favorite, obviously, is Nia Carlson. She's kind of fun because she has certain perks and stuff that are beneficial. Which each of them actually have specific perks to them. And once you level them up high enough, you can unlock them, what they're called teachable perks. And you'll be able to let others get these perks in their blood red, which is right here. This is a good kind of example. So for each level you get a new blood web and you get a whole bunch of different things. You can get like offerings, which can change the amount of points you get in a game or where you go in a game, stuff like that, and you or the luck of all the survivors or different things like that. Then you can get certain items like a medkit or a flashlight or a toolbox, and depending on how you like to play, these can help you either be a healer for your team or repair generators faster, which is the basics. That's your basic goal, is to repair generators. Or you can kind of distract the killer by using a flashlight to blind them. And it also, if the killer is carrying one of your buddies, they'll drop the survivor. So yeah, so you can get perks and everything, and these are gotten, you buy these with the blood points, which you get for doing various actions in the game, which we'll get to later. So as you said, there is different perks, and you can have up to 4 once you get to a certain level. I think it's 15, 20, and 25 unlock the second, third, and fourth perks. Otherwise you start out with 1. Then you can have an item, so right now all I have was a flashlight, unfortunately. I don't tend to like to distract anything, but we'll give you a basic. So now you can add 2 add-ons to it. So you can increase the flashlight accuracy, which is beneficial because I don't have the greatest of aim all the time. And let's just do this one since it's nice and yellow, and then that's the other thing. So there's different rarities, as you can see by the colors. So this is just the lowest rarity. It's not very good. It's kind of common. Then there's the uncommon and the very rare, that's purple, and then green is just rare. And then the ultra rare is a pink-red color. So an offering, I'm not gonna do that one, but that is a very rare one. So that can be beneficial if you trust your buddies, I guess. Don't always trust them because they can screw you over and work with the killer, which is totally reportable, by the way. So there's this event going on right now called the Howling Grounds. You get different coins. So if you finish a generator that is called a lunar generator, you'll get a golden coin. Actually, all the survivors will get the golden coin. And then if you hook a survivor as a killer onto a lunar hook, you get a burnt coin. And these coins will allow you to unlock these and yeah, so just you offer that up, and as you can see, it'll put in 1 lunar hook and 1 lunar generator, and you can get your bonus points and stuff. Okay, so here is the shrine. This shrine has some teachable perks that you can actually buy with these that you get. You get around 10 per game. So once you get like 550 is the lower end, or 750, you can unlock these, and then all of your survivors, just like if you unlocked it in here by leveling, all of your survivors will have the potential to have these show up in their blood web. Alright, so you can also customize their looks, and this is my favorite, but I mean, you can have different stuff. Obviously, I tend to go for the darker look, mostly because I want to blend in a little better. And yeah, so just a kind of basic rundown of each one's abilities. This guy can, I think, if he is near his fellow survivors, for each one he gets a bonus to his actions, and then they also get a bonus for their actions. This girl, Meg Thomas, she can really evade. She's really good for evading the killer or being a distraction because she has a sprint burst ability, which allows her to go really fast, about every minute. So she can really evade the killer pretty easily. This girl is more of a healer. Her perks allow her to find and heal her allies faster. Next is Jake Park, and he is really good for if you're alone, if you're the last character standing. He makes it harder for the killer to find him, and makes it so that like he can sabotage some of the hooks and stuff. And yeah, so that's I find him to be pretty good for that. I believe I have a perk for him that makes it so that he's harder to track, because as you run, you leave these scratches, they're red scratches that only the killer can see. So as a killer, you're gonna want to follow them, but for a survivor, you're gonna want to lessen those as much as you can. So this makes it so that they go away faster. So next, she can evade really nicely because she has a, so normally when you're crouching, you have a penalty to your speed. If you have your perk up, like leveled, or a rare enough perk, she can go at the same speed. She might be able to go faster. I'm actually not sure about that yet. I haven't gotten her perk that high yet. And then when she is running, and you can jump off high places, thankfully without damage, she gets this what's called a balanced landing. So the stagger effects tend to be somewhat harmful to your potential of survival, because if you jump and the killer is right behind you, they can hit you and potentially down you faster. But with her, she recovers faster and she can run away and get away. Or potentially, not always. And then this perk allows her to, her items So as you use your items, like your toolbox, your medkit and such, they deplete their charge. So eventually they'll disappear, and you won't be able to use them anymore, and you'll have to go and find chests that are hidden throughout the map to get new ones. Unfortunately, there won't be any add-ons with them, so they'll just be basic. So with this, however, you can decrease the rate at which the item charge depletes. And it also benefits your allies too by doing the same thing for them. Next, I haven't actually played him at all. So, so he has an aura reading ability. So auras are basically, they're like an outline, so you'll see, people through walls and everything, and you'll see it later because I'm gonna play a game. But so it allows you to see where the killer is or where your fellow survivors are, and stuff like that. And it's basically a reveal. Next, so he gets a bonus to luck for all survivors, which is beneficial. So if you're on the hook, for example, you have a better chance of getting off on your own. But I wouldn't suggest it because normally you only have about a 4% chance of actually unhooking yourself, so try not to. If there's a chance that your fellow survivors will be able to save you from the hook, you might want to kind of pull back on that and wait. Finally, there's 50% chance an add-on of uncommon rarity or lower will be attached to any items that he picks up from a chest. So that's actually pretty awesome. I did not know that existed, so that's something new, I guess. Next, she is amazing for repairing generators, because if you miss a skill check, and you will miss skill checks, guaranteed, she has a 30% chance or better, depending on how rare your perk is, to not end up causing an explosion. Now, these explosions will alert the killer to where you are. Obviously, not a good thing. She also has a sprint burst after vaulting, but only activates in chases, which is pretty awesome, because the killer is very slow getting over any vaults or anything like that. So it's definitely a benefit to have that speed, because you can potentially get around a corner and they'll lose you, which would be great. Then she gets a reveal for a killer if they perform a break. So I believe that's if they either damage a generator, maybe, and or probably if they break a pallet. Now, a pallet is used to stun a killer or kind of slow them down, get in their way, because the killers tend to be a lot faster than survivors. So you're definitely going to want to have those put down or vault across things if you possibly can. Just, yeah, try to find a way to slow them down, because otherwise they will gain on you. If you just keep running in one direction and you don't do anything, they will gain on you. Another thing, turning corners tends to be very difficult for survivors to get away if the killer is good enough with their aim and can guess where you went. They will potentially get you. Not all killers can. I mean, they have to have good aim, but you take a risk by taking a sharp turn when they're behind you, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so next, this one, she has the ability to reduce a killer's aura reading range, which is pretty awesome, because their aura reading can, be a huge thing. They are able to see the survivors or stuff like that, that could be a really big benefit, because that basically blinds the killer by quite a bit. So that's if one or more survivors are killed or sacrificed. So that's definitely a benefit. So sometimes certain survivors can become the killer's obsession. Now this is indicated with, it's kind of hard to describe without showing you, but it's basically like these talons sort of idea on either side of the killer's or the survivor's picture, which you'll see is in the bottom left corner. You're gonna want to pay attention to that, because that could tell you what state each other survivor is in. So for example, if they are already dead, if they disconnected, if they are in the dying state or injured. Two major things to pay attention to. The killer needs to hit you twice. Most killers need to hit you twice to put you into the dying state. Not all of them do, it depends on their abilities. Some of them have instant dying state abilities. So once you're in the injured state, there that'll show up on the bottom left corner for all of everyone to see, even the killer. And if you're in the dying state, that will also show up. So you'll want to pay attention to that, because that will allow you to look around, and in the aura of your dying survivor, whether it be you or your buddies, that will be revealed to you, and you'll know where the killer is based on that aura. So you want to pay attention. Definitely pay attention to your surroundings at all times, for sure. Then it'll also you'll also have a revealed aura when your survivor buddies and you are hooked. There are some perks that allow you to reveal, like you can have all of the survivors' auras revealed to each other when you are hooked, which is super beneficial, because if they see that, okay, the other two survivors are not going for the hooked survivor, they might decide that they're going to go save you, or they might see that one of the survivors is running from the killer. You can see just based on speed and sometimes the way that they move too. Then they might, decide, okay, now I know where the killer is, I'm gonna go save the person on the hook. So yeah, so next is David King. I have not played him very much, obviously, but so if he protects the survivor, he gains a stackable bonus to all of his blood points up to a maximum of 50%, which is pretty awesome, because obviously you use those to level all the time, so that will definitely be a benefit. So he has a dash ability, pretty awesome, so he can avoid damage using that, but it does cause exhaustion, and any of the abilities that cannot be used when exhaustion happens, it doesn't matter if you have 1 or 4 different exhaustion abilities or exhaustion causing abilities, you won't be able to use any of them if you're in exhaustion for those 60 seconds. So basically you can't be healed to healthy. You don't leave any pools of blood, which is definitely a benefit, because if you are in the injured state, you leave pools of blood behind you. But in this case, you start off in the injured state. You don't do any grunts of pain, which are definitely a benefit because then the killer can't hear you as well. And then you are able to fully recover from a dying state, which can be a huge benefit if the killer is one of those ones that will down you and then go after the other person and then come back to you. That can be a huge benefit to surviving, because otherwise you're stuck there until somebody else can come and get you. So if there's only 2 of you left, that's a problem. Okay, so Quentin, he is definitely more of the healer. He has some extra abilities for, let's see. So when they're powered, the exit gates are powered, so once you finish all 5 of the generators, the exit gates end up being powered. So in this case, he has them revealed to him within a 24-meter range, and while opening the exit gate, you reveal your aura to the other survivors within a 24-meter range as well. While it is active, you open the gates 5% faster, which can be a big benefit as well, because that exit gate is very important to open. Okay, so then you have a knack for finding medicine. So basically that means that if you are searching through a chest, you have a 40% chance to get it's 40% faster, sorry, and you have a chance to get a emergency kit. Oh, it guarantees you an emergency kit on your first chest search. I did not know that. I thought maybe they changed it, but I thought before it was that you had a better chance of getting one. Well, so within an 8-meter range, you recover from exhausted, hemorrhage, mangled, hindered, and blindness status effects 10% faster. Definitely helpful. Exhausted, obviously, that means that you'll be able to run again or use any of your abilities that cause exhaustion faster. Hemorrhage, if I'm correct, I believe that makes you bleed more. So that makes you easier to find. Mangled, I'm not 100% sure. Hindered, I'm not sure either. Blindness, I think that just makes it harder for you to see. I mean, I think that's a pretty obvious one. Okay, finally, Tap. He's pretty awesome. So he can crawl 30% faster and recover at the same time, which is huge. Most of the time, when you are recovering from the dying state, you can recover slowly. You can't recover all the way, though. That's the big thing here. You need to, unless you have a perk, you need another survivor to help you. But the problem is, most of the time, you have to either choose to crawl away, which gives you the chance to hide and then go recover, or recover because you can't do both. However, this will allow you to do both, and you go faster. Pretty awesome. Okay, so unlocks the potential in one's aura reading ability. So when completing a generator, the auras of generators, chests, and totems within 32 meters are revealed to you for 5 seconds. Well, that's pretty awesome. Getting close to the killer fills you with determination. For each 15 seconds you are standing within the killer terror radius and not in a chase, you gain a token of up to a maximum of 2 tokens. So when you have at least 1 token, the good skill checks are considered great skill checks, and they will consume 1 token. Okay. Alright, so there is actually other abilities that have tokens like that. So as you sometimes it's certain things that the survivors do if you're the killer, or certain things that happen can give you a token, or maybe certain things you do, I'm not sure. Unfortunately, other than that one, there's not really any other examples that I can think of. Alright, so on to the killer. So, killer, so... Okay, so one thing to mention though. So each of these play style or ranked matches, they're the matches, they're ranked for both of these. However, for this, you can actually play alone, I believe. And as oh, it is a ranked match. That's odd. However, if you do have some friends, you can go kill your friends. That'll be fun. Okay. So, here are all the killers. So, obviously, again, there's easy, hard, and intermediate killers as well. You have a loadout just the same. However, depending on the killer, this will be, your power will be different things. So in this case, her power is that she has no terror radius while crouching, and she can use a dash attack to dash, or ambush is what it's called. You have to hold down the button and you can strike a it does give a little bit of an indication just before it happens, but you can strike a survivor. Then, if you put them in a dying state, you can put a reverse bear trap on their head, which is pretty awesome because they will automatically kill the survivor when it is triggered. Now, the trigger could be a timer, or if they go beyond the exit gate, or I believe, oh no, I guess not. Sorry. So yeah, so when a generator, the first generator is completed, the timer starts. However, the timer does not go if you are in a chase, if you are in the dying state, or obviously if you are hooked. If you get too close to the exit gate, it'll start beeping really fast. And yeah, that's pretty good indication that you probably shouldn't be going that way. So the biggest indication that you are facing the pig, because you won't know as you go in as a survivor, is that these jigsaw puzzles, or basically this big cage looking thing with this creepy little dude on top, with circles where you put your arms in and you try to remove the trap. So those will be there will be about 4 or 5 depending on the killer's set loadout, and they are called jigsaw boxes, and so you have to, just like completing a generator, you have to finish all the way, like finish the the bar, I guess. So it takes some time, and you do have skill checks, just like with the generators or sabotaging, because you can sabotage hooks. Very exciting. However, if the killer has this perk, they come back in 30 seconds, so not always worth it. But yeah, so the jigsaw boxes will allow you to take off the reverse bear traps. However, you have to find the right one. You won't always find the correct key in that jigsaw box, and you'll hear a laughing noise and you won't take it off. So you gotta go to another one of them, because like I said, there was about 4 or 5 hanging around the map, and they'll be revealed to you as white boxes essentially. However, they're also revealed to the pig, so if they know you're going for them, because there is an indication in the bottom left corner on your little icon that you have a trap on you, so they will probably patrol that. They definitely patrol generators, by the way, or at least I do. Not all of them, obviously. So yeah, so that's the basics of the pig. They have add-ons as well, which can change how how they play. So for example, this allows me to have an extra bear trap because you only have a certain amount. I believe it's 4 originally, so I would have 5, and that allows you to put more on and have more at once, because if they end up taking them off or stuff like that, you'll definitely want to put that back on so they can't leave, because that is definitely alright. So the biggest thing, I guess, with the killer is you're trying to hook the survivors. You're trying to put them on these, and they'll be revealed to you when you are carrying a survivor, these big hook-like things, and there will be 3 stages. And so as a survivor, you're going to want to be very careful about this, but so the first stage, you can get off. You have a potential of getting off 2 to 3 times. You can attempt to, but like I said before, there's only a 4% chance of you getting off, so not always worth it. Definitely want to make sure that if you can, wait for your buddies. Then the second stage, you have to repeatedly press X. It's called struggle. The struggle phase, I guess, or at least I call it the struggle phase. And you'll have to do that, but if you stop pressing X, you will instantly die. Now, if you are taken off in the first stage, so stage 1, when you are just hanging on the hook, and your buddy comes and saves you, if you end up getting placed back on the hook, you are instantly in stage 2. Now, if you get taken off the hook again, and then you're put back on the hook for a 3rd time, you will instantly die. So, gotta be very careful. Obviously, you don't ever want to be hooked at all, so be careful. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I guess I do probably want that. I'm just gonna set up my loadout for it while I'm sitting here. Brutality category. I'm not necessarily sure how brutal I really am. This will be definitely beneficial because that kind of coincides with this. So if I have an extra one and they can't get rid of it, that would be pretty awesome. However, since I have this, I might as well do it. I have a certain amount of coins, so definitely want to do that. Alright, so that's the pig. Now, the pig is the most recent one. There's also the Nightmare, which is essentially Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street. So he is a pain in the ass to deal with. He really is. He is basically invisible the entire game until he puts you into what is called the dream world with his power. Now, you can hear him. He has a much larger radius than most, but oh, hello. Okay, I just got very shy. Okay, so let's see. Let's actually go. Okay, so what I was saying. So he has a much larger radius. He kind of has like this sing-song voice. Sounds like children. So that kind of indicates, you know, where he is. But the difficult thing about him is that if you were to pull yourself out of the dream world, and you can, if you set off an explosion for the generator, or if you are trying to heal yourself from or somebody else is healing you, and they accidentally miss, you can be pulled out. What else? Or if you're hooked. Obviously, you don't want that to happen, though. Okay, yeah, so I think the biggest thing I need to say here is there are also teachable perks for killers, which will allow you to open up those perks in the blood web of other killers. But yeah, then let's see. Oh. Yeah. What else do I play? So I play the Hag as well, and she's pretty fun. She can instantly teleport to her traps if she's within range. So she can put down these little kind of triangle things on the ground, and so I personally put them on generators most of the time, and in front of hooks when there is a survivor hooked. And if you're within the range of it and a survivor runs past it, they'll go off and kind of like a copy of you will jump out of the ground, and then you can click your button. I can't remember which button it is right now. I haven't played her in a bit. And you can instantly go there. There is a bit of a kind of a delay, like when you're moving over there, your screen goes black. So it's sometimes hard to like reorient yourself. So sometimes I try to I try to hit like right away, but that doesn't always work, and then there's kind of a delay. Because for each killer, when you use your primary attack, there's kind of what's the word? It slows you down for a little bit anyway. You stop and you do this sort of like action, whether you wipe off your blade or weapon or whatever it is, and before you can actually start moving and go after the survivor again. So yeah, you'll want to be wary of that. But otherwise, she is actually hard to play against because you can rescue your fellow survivors from the hook, but that's not necessarily the best idea with her, especially if she has her traps there, because if she teleports there, I mean, you can get stopped in the middle of being pulled off, when you're trying to pull the survivor off, you can end up, basically this animation happens and the killer will instantly put you on their shoulder, which really sucks, and then they can go and hook you right away. Biggest thing I didn't know, actually. So once you finish all your generators, their exit gates power up and you go and open the exit gates. However, if you are the last survivor, or you have a key that can unlock it, or there's different ways anyways, there's a hatch that will spawn somewhere in the level. It's completely random as to where it is. So, although I usually look for it by the exit gates. They're not always there though. So it's a hatch basically, and it'll open if you're the last person, but there has to be at least two generators done. So the biggest thing I noticed was the killers can actually stop you from going in the hatch and instantly grab you and put you on their shoulder, and that really sucked because I was like nah 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 to the killer, and then nope, I'm being brought to the hook and sacrificed. Well, that sucks. Yeah, so let's see, I guess I'm just gonna continue here. The Trapper I find to be really slow, but he has these bear traps, so he starts off with one, and then there's about 5 kind of like scattered around the level or the trial, and he can pick them up and he can set them. Biggest thing though, he can also end up accidentally stepping on them himself and triggering them, and he'll just reopen it. But if he's carrying a survivor, he'll drop them. So you gotta be careful where you put those, gotta remember where they are. So yeah, and if a survivor ends up being trapped by them, they can struggle out, but that gives you an indication of where they are because there's a visual cue and an auditory cue that indicate where they are. And so a lot of times I see them put them near the hooks to stop the survivors if they happen to try to go save their friend. And yeah, I don't really play him very much. The shape, however, essentially Michael Myers from Halloween, he is extremely fun to play. Now, he's essentially a stalker. It's pretty bad that I find that fun to play. But, and so when he goes into his stalk, he is slower, but as he stalks more, he becomes stronger and faster, and he can vault over things faster. And once he's in the third charge, which will deplete over time, unfortunately, he can instantly down a survivor into the dying state, which is painful to deal with, especially if you're dealing, like, if you're the type of team that will repeatedly try to save your fellow survivors, because he has no terror radius when he's stalking, right? So he can kind of like hide and watch either the dying survivor or the hooked survivor and just wait and camp the area and patrol around and try to find the survivors that are trying to rescue. And like when he's in the third stage, and you'll hear it because you'll hear some music play in between. So as he goes from stage 1 to stage 2, you'll hear music, and as he goes from stage 2 to stage 3, you'll hear a little bit of music. And then when he depletes from stage 3 back to stage 2, you'll hear a kind of sadder sounding music. And yeah, so if you're trying to save your buddy or you know, you are the killer, you can end up hitting multiple survivors and downing them, and you just plow through them, which is pretty great, honestly. I have a hard time playing the cannibal. I don't know why, but he's just... I tend to use the walls as kind of like my way of getting around. Like sometimes I'll just run into walls, and that does not sound great. I'll just end up running into walls and kind of use them to stay the direction I want to go. And the thing is, though, he has this chainsaw, and if you have to charge it first, and then once you let it go, he starts just waving it around, and he can down people, which is great. He can down people instantly into the dying state. But if he ends up hitting something like a wall or anything, he goes into this like fit of rage and he doesn't stop, and it just is the most pain in the butt. So I do not like playing him very much. Actually, another one I don't really like playing is her, because I do not have very good aim. She can throw axes, which is great, except if you need to like line up your aim really well, it's a pain. Not that I'm saying not to play her, because she can be pretty good. Like, I've seen some pretty good Huntress, but she hums. She has this, like, her terror radius is still a heartbeat. Like, that's the normal terror radius for killers, but she also has a bigger radius where she hums, and it is very disconcerting as a survivor because you don't know where she is, so you can just hear her humming everywhere, and it makes it very hard to see or hear where she is, you know, like you're constantly looking around, you kind of panic. The doctor, as you can see, he's actually hard to play. He has this, so he can switch stances. He can go from punishment to, I forget which one's which. Anyway, one of them is punishment, and so his one thing is just his primary attack, trying to hit, but his second is this, he sends out this wave of electricity, which, when there's a survivor in the area, they end up screaming. And basically they cause them to hallucinate and scream in terror, and that ends up revealing their position. And the more that they end up being electrocuted, the worse it is. So the other thing is, it also makes it more difficult for them to complete generators, because normally the skill checks are in the middle of the screen, always. But if you're in the madness state, they could be anywhere on the screen. So that's a pain. You can try to snap out of it, but it also has skill checks, and again, they'll be randomly spread throughout the screen. So yeah, I don't play him very often because he can be a pain. He's kind of slow. So yeah, the nurse, again, I don't really play her very often. I have played her for rituals, which are your daily quests essentially, but she has this blink ability. She can like phase through walls and everything. She's great, but once she finishes blinking, she gets exhausted for a couple seconds, so she stops and she looks down, so she can't see anything around her. And plus aiming with her blink ability is difficult. But I mean, hey, after a while, I guess I could possibly get used to it, but I don't enjoy playing her nearly as much. Now, the person who actually got me into this game plays this character, and the only reason I know how to play this character is because of what he's told me. So it's actually a she. I thought it was a she. Oh, it says his. Never mind. That's weird. I swear to God it said she somewhere. Oh well. So he can cloak himself completely, get rid of his terror radius, but there's a shimmer that's left, so you have to be careful. So you won't be able to hear him, but you'll be able to kind of see him. The problem is getting in and out of that stealth ability. He rings this wailing bell, which is like ding, ding, and then they like a whoosh sound, and he goes in and out. So it takes them a couple seconds. So that kind of tips off the survivors and they can start running. So he's fun to play because you can really camp an area really nicely and people don't know you're there. My friend that plays him actually will sit on the hook because he knows that a lot of the survivors will go and save the hooked survivor. So he'll just wait, and as soon as they come up, he'll just knock them down into the dying state. And then another person will come up and he'll just knock them down in the dying state, and then he'll just start hooking them. And that's great for him, but I cannot play it like that. So you can customize. I mean, he's not very good. Let's see. I'm not really sure who has a lot. To be honest, they don't really have a lot of customizations. I mean, obviously there's a little bit. Oh, wow. I have way more than I thought I did. So, yeah, you can customize their weapons and stuff, which is kind of cool. So, yeah, and what else? I think I mentioned the shrine thing already. I think it's just time for me to actually play a game. That'll be fun. I think we're gonna play Survivor, because I've been playing Survivor the last little while. see. So I have a little bit of blood points. So I'm gonna grab one of these, because I'm going for this. Because I definitely want my crouching speed to be increased to 100%. That will be great. Yeah, so I'll just join a lobby and we'll see what happens. I'll probably die fast. It's fine though. This is definitely my favorite outfit for her. I've seen a lot of people do this hair and it's just, eesh, it's horrible. And these are all too light for me anyway. This is taking a while. Normally it's pretty quick. There we go. Alright. Or maybe not. Let's try that again. Alright. So I'll just ready up right away because I already have everything set up. So the biggest thing I want to indicate here is you, as a survivor, you can't see who the killer is until you're actually in the game and you see them in the game. Although I believe in the beginning you do get like a little tips thing in the loading screen, but only for the first time ever playing against that killer. So that'll give you a tip, but for the most part you won't see it. Is my connection really that bad? Oh wow. Probably because I'm streaming. It's okay. Come on, ready up. One. Really? Oh well. I might end up timing out. This shows you how long. Unfortunately, I think it resets as soon as somebody leaves, so hopefully they don't leave. If they were to ready up, it would instantly go to 5 seconds. That would be great. Guess not. That's actually one of the first games I've ever seen 3 people not ready by the end of the timer. Alright, so on this screen, it'll show you the different offerings that were given by each character, so I guess only 3 of us actually gave an offering. Yeah, so you can see kind of some tips at the bottom here. I've actually learned a couple of random things that were super helpful that aren't really given in the like tutorial area, because there is actually like help and tutorial and they'll give you the basics, but these tips kind of help you. I always read them. I find the loading for this actually tends to be pretty long. Survivors can attempt to evade killers by hiding in lockers. Killers can search lockers, but spend precious time doing so. I think one of the things I should probably say here, the Huntress, when she uses her axe, she has to refill them by going into a locker. So probably best not to use lockers to hide if you're playing against her. Alrighty. There we go. I do not want this flashlight. I'm gonna go find something else afterwards. Okay, so... yeah, those crows you're gonna want to be careful about. So here's a generator. Oh, lovely. So, remember how I was talking about the Huntress? Yeah, that's her. That humming. Unfortunately, you can see her over there. There's like 3 survivors in the area too. We're all dead. I'm just gonna run in the opposite direction. That sounds like a good idea. Not really, you don't want to run very much. Do as I say, not as I do, I guess. Yeah, one of the biggest things is that noise that you can hear. The killer can hear that from a pretty good distance away. So those are the skill checks I was talking about, by the way. Don't worry, you will get better at them. At first they are very hard to hit. So I might actually possibly finish this generator before, or maybe not. Oh, looks like I'm not. Oh crap. Oh. Oh yeah, so you get a speed boost once you get hit by her. Not that I really wanted to show you that right off the bat, but guess that's happening. Uh-oh. Oh, wow, yeah. Great. Okay, so, wiggling. So you can try to wiggle off of them. Oh, please. Please make her drop me, that would be great. So, in wiggling, you have to use the analog stick and wiggle it back and forth. The trick is not speed, it's consistency. Repeatedly being able to wiggle it back and forth is more important than trying to do it really, really fast. It's not going to go any faster than it is. Okay, so I could attempt to escape, but with a 4% chance, I don't really want to. Oh, and look, there's a friend. That's awesome. Okay, and then now we gotta run. Please give me that speed boost right now. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so now I'm out of there. Oh. So those sparks indicate that the killer has damaged this, and it'll slowly start regressing, or basically the progress that you can see at the bar there will start to decrease slowly over time until it has no progress at all. Uh-oh. Oh, that might have saved me. Nope. Run! Oh look, she missed me. That was luck. Yeah, I did not escape, you lies. You lie. It'd be nice if I could find a pallet right now, but it looks like that's a no. Oh, ow. Hi, friend. You're not the one with the flashlight, are you? Nope. Alright, so I'm about to go into the second stage. That'll be struggling. Like that. It will definitely hurt your hand after a while. You can get about 800 points doing this. So you definitely want to try to do it as long as possible. Yeah, she's camping me. Of course she is. The other thing is, if they end up camping like this, the best way to do it is keep them distracted, because then your buddies can get the... Okay, where the... Oh, she went down. Never mind. Then your buddies will be able to actually finish the generators. Potentially, anyways. Both of you, y'all just gonna watch me? Okay. Go now, go now. You're just gonna watch her die? That's lovely. There we go. Okay. Apparently we started off with 3 people. Normally there's supposed to be 4, but I wonder if someone disconnected. Alright, so I was sacrificed. Pretty much expected. Okay, so biggest thing here, these will tell you, so I believe this is objectives, this is altruism, so if you save people from hooks and stuff, or heal people, I don't know what that one is, and this one's escaping the killer. Oh, I think that might be like, you know, your #1 goal, is to actually get out, I don't know. Yeah, so here, you get your points, this is how much you made in the match, that is the iridescent shards like I mentioned earlier. Those you can use to buy stuff at the shrine. So this will just tell you how your rank is going, so I'm not very high ranked. I was actually 18 for a little bit, but yeah. So I lost my items, well I wasn't really concerned about that. But yeah, so if you don't escape, you lose your items. If you do escape, and you still have your items, because you don't always, then you will keep them. Or if you pick up any in the chest, you'll also keep them if you escape. Yeah. Wow, okay. Crazy. Person's rank 9. Alright, yeah. So you can report them right here, this little up arrow, and I'm not actually, maybe I'll give them props, but, yeah. Sorry about that. Did not know that. So you can give them props for doing a good job, or you can, you know, various things you can report them for. Biggest thing I would like to say is camping is actually not a reportable offense, because I'm a camper, and yeah. Alright, so now, so I could spectate if I wanted to, but I don't really want to have other people's gameplay on my videos, so not worth it. Yeah, so I'm just gonna finish that. And unfortunately, once you reach level 10, this will happen, and it makes it so that you can't get that, whatever it is, item, perk, whatever. Basically, that is what they call it. The entity has awoken, so the entity starts eating away at your blood web. So as I spend money, it'll start. So if I were to, for example, just grab this, it'll continuously go until there isn't any left for me to get or it to eat. So, yeah. So I just made that a very rare. So that is one that I sometimes use, not always. I use that instead of this most of the time, and then I use, what is it? This one, I'll usually use this, which allows me to recover from a dying state, but I've enjoyed the idea of being able to sprint, that sprint burst. So that is nice. Plus, that coupled with the sprint burst, the stop, so your tracks not being as easy to follow, is definitely a benefit. I do not have items. That sucks. Guess I'll just have to find some. Okay, red envelope. Yeah, so I guess that gives you kind of like a taste of what the game is. Guess I'll switch to killer. Now, I was playing Pig earlier, but I'm not as good at her. Oh well, I guess I'll play her. Yeah, I mean, you'll see her quite often, so might as well play her. So now I get to create a lobby. So I want to make sure. Yep, okay. Okay. So we have 3 repairs. That's nice. Hopefully they don't use that to sabotage, because with my perk, my hooks come back. Oh, and I have, you'll hear the entity whispering. It's kind of this weird, like, I don't know, you'll hear it. And that'll tell me that a survivor is in the area. Fortunately, that it's also not always the best. I find it's mostly useful for, you'll see there's an outline of the generator, or an aura of the generators are revealed. Awesome. It's kind of better for when you're like patrolling those to be able to skip a generator if you don't hear. Oh wow. Lots of them. So, what I was saying, it's better because if you're going up to the generator and you don't hear the whispers, then you might as well just keep going. You can kind of skip that generator and go to the next one. And it just saves you a little time, because time is huge. Awesome, loading faster than last time. Let's see what other tidbits I can say. So if there's a survivor that is on a generator, you can actually pull them onto your shoulder right away and start carrying them if they don't stop that action. So, oh look, whispering already. Somebody is within 48 meters of me. So as you can see, I am a lot faster. And it's in first person, which can be good and bad. Okay, oh, looks like somebody's running. So those are the srirachas I talked about earlier. That, oh, I can follow. Oh, there you are. Oh, I missed. Where'd you go? Oh, there she is. Okay, so, injured state. And what are you doing? Okay. Are you really trying to hide from me? That's not smart. Okay. So, actually, quickly, I'm gonna drop her first, because I want to put this on her head. Okay, so that's the reverse bear trap. And also, I'm gonna go put her on this hook over here. Oh, all my blue hooks are so far away. Those are the lunar hooks. Okay. So, Survivor 1. I am definitely hearing more whispers though. So we might have some attempted rescues over here. Okay. Uh, so that notification that I just got was a completed generator, and you get that as a survivor as well, by the way. Okay, they're really close. I just don't know where the heck they are. Oh, they got him off. Okay, let's go. Gotcha. Let's see if I can get you to the blue hook this time. Yeah, that sounds fun. Hi. Would you like to be hit? That sounds fun. Come here. Okay, so this is about to do some fireworks. That'll be fun. Come here, you. Come on. Don't run away. I just want to play. Oh. No, stop it. Okay, so you'll see how much slower I am at doing that. Yeah, not always worth it. Where'd you go? You know, because you could lose the survivor. Oh, maybe not. Maybe. Oh, where'd you go? There you are. Why didn't you drop a pallet? Come on. Good examples here. Let's go. Are you seriously you're just going in circles? I'm not liking this. What are you doing? Stop it. Yeah, so that was a stun, and he just got a nice 1,200 points for that. Whoops. Let's go in the building? Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Don't stun me. Where are you at? There you are. Come on. Nope, too far away. Ooh, I just got a speed bonus from the length of time that we've been doing this. Dang it! Do it. There you go. Okay. Stop it. Ah. It's fine. Problem is, which way did you go? See, that is where you want to be careful. Don't vault over things if I'm not actually right on your tail. Where'd you go? And he healed himself. Somebody started running. No. That sucks. Yeah. Here, have a nice hat. Aww. That's too funny. You. I saw you. Where'd you go? Fortunately, I'm wasting time by trying to stop her. But I'd like to at least get one sacrifice. That would be nice. Where did you go? There she is. Okay, so now I'll be able to hear her better. I don't like the music sometimes because it makes it too loud. Hard to hear. Dang it. Alrighty. I mean, he can't get out anyways for a little while, so I'm just gonna leave him be for now. What did you do? Did you try to get rid of my hook again? Did you jump in the window or out the window? Oh, there we go. I'm not gonna catch him in time, unfortunately. But I might give him and me some points. Where'd you go? Did you actually leave? That was dumb. Why would you do that? Come back. That's why. Now is he gonna try to get through this door or that door? Well, one person left. Oh, there we go. What? Oh, that sucks. No. Oh well, but that gives you kind of a taste of what the killer is like anyway. Yeah, see, they're all pretty good. Pretty high ranked, honestly. These two. Okay. Well, I hope that at least gives somewhat of an idea of what the game is like. It's a pretty fun game. And I will say, so I'm not going to spend my points on this one. I will say, it can be difficult to get used to at first. And I mean, even I still obviously don't do that well. So I mean, don't get too hard on yourself if you don't do that well at first. It happens. Sure, I'll start the trial with somebody else. This would be nice. What's this? Okay. Level 35. Wow. Okay, so that kind of shows where the teachable perks come in. So if I were to go all the way over there and actually unlock it, this will be like all of my survivors could then get it in their blood webs. But I have to kind of weigh the options. Like, I can get that, or I could do this. You know, like, it's hard to say. It all depends on how you play, really. That's a pretty nice key, too. So, yeah. I guess that's all for now. I was thinking about doing a tips video, but I think I've given away most of the tips that I actually had anyways. Maybe if I get some more, I'll do it. Alrighty, well, I guess I'm gonna sign off then. I hope this helped everyone. See you later.